design as quickly as you can. So by the end of this video, you're going to fully understand how to use Claude Design for PowerPoints, posters, code, and everything else. So without any more delay, let's get started. Welcome back. Let's see how to use Claude Design. Point item something. The thing I want you to get about Claude Design is basically what's going on long term. This is really creating competition. You can now create designs using prompts with Figma and Adobe, and it's actually happening. So for example, let's go ahead and just build one together. I'm going to head over to the slide deck. I'll name it the EO Startup and then hit create. Let's take a quick look around this user interface. We know the left really well. This is the chat setup. So what we're going to do here is, as you can see, I've already selected a deck. So I'm going to head to Hombalfi, leave this small sketch that was made, and we have all these different buttons. First off, the settings icon selects the right model. If you're having trouble, just pick the highest one. For level model 4.7, we retain our classic ability to add context by attaching PDFs, images, and similar files. Our ability to yap means I could literally just talk to it and request what helps you understand. Notice we have that very specific feature of make a... Alright, so let's make a deck. What I'm going to show you in this video is we're going to create a deck. And I'm also going to show you how to make your own custom project that's lasered into the specific type of design you care about. So if you run a company, you run the best cafe you have with very specific colors, very specific branding, logos, and everything of that. You can actually get very specific fine-tuned answers and designs from Claude here with this nature. But first we need the deck. And someone here used Thumbio because Thumbio is a design tool, but especially for YouTube thumbnails, it's all laser focused on 16:9, all our favorites. So let's set the stage first. Give us the info here so we can act like we're raising money. Plus, we can also provide screenshot context. So if you spot a design on another site you absolutely love, grab an image. Oh wow, with Thumbio, I'm just going to drag it in. Upload these files here and hit send. So while that's playing, you'll see we can add comments too, and it all coexists. Environment so you can bring in team members to help you build this pitch deck or whatever deck you're working on. You can leave comments like this. It's just like Google Drive. I can't rewrite that sentence because it's grammatically broken and doesn't make sense. Business as well. So we've got something here, and I'll tell you y'all, this took around 10 minutes. Back in the day, if you gave a request like this, it got done in 30 seconds, but not anymore. It looks like garbage. Look at this. First off, we're talking 15 slides all within the user interface. So the design I had on the site means we're going to need to plug in a lot of this info. And play, of course. But check this out, y'all, how it works. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, contextually. Understands what a good pitch deck is, and also got the context from that image thanks to the tools Boom. So we get an output like this. How do we edit it? So there are a couple ways you can edit it. One is tweaks. So for example, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, make this a light theme. It will take this dark theme. And then Claude will make it brighter, so it's obviously kind of in the way. But the idea with dark lights is that you can make fundamental changes depending on whether the tweaks are enabled or not. You can edit in other ways too, since everything's code-based, and we can actually pinpoint very specific parts here. And tap it to see everything you can do. You can change the font size. You can do everything you can do in standard design software in Claude Design as well. Or literally swap the text, so we're talking 10 plus hours and we're done with Photoshop. And Canva, that's why we use Claude Design and there.probedals.com. And then you've got cool little features like being able to draw on it or take off the or whatever you feel like doing right now. This is pretty cool. Once you're happy with your pitch deck, you can export it right here as PDF, PowerPoint, Canva, or the code. But understand that everything I just demonstrated right there isn't limited to just PowerPoints. And slide decks, this can be anything you guys can think of. Anything you've ever made in Canva or Photoshop or whatever you're using, you can do it here. The steps and processes are exactly the same. So let me show you a super cool feature where you can create a design system. So by clicking Setup Design System here, we can essentially put in our product, our business, or whatever branding we're building here and make it an easy plug and play. So we've got Fair EO here, the idea being the best way to make thumbnails with AI. Click that here, that's the one. Company name and blurb Thumio. Scrolling down here, if you're familiar with coding, you can drop in your GitHub link to your Samba. The repo is cool, but what I'm going to do is drag my local code for the entire theme Hail front end here and drop it right here. So I'll just drag the folder in, which is going to give context to the exact coloring. I use design, I use text, I use everything. I use how it looks, situation. Also, it has a native connect with Figma if you love Figma, so you can add fonts, logos, and assets. So let's add our little llama, the llama theme. and we can add extra context. But I believe these code files I have right here are more than enough, since this is the spot where you'd add the color palette that you use for your business continues to generate, and it is cooking. So as you can tell right off the bat, though I did hit a usage limit, this is a very classic Claude limit situation. But I think this is cool, the direction I see this going. Especially if you're familiar with software development, there's definitely a layer here where the usual tasks you handle in Figma, you might be able to handle in the Claude Design now as I spot the architecture here. What you'll notice is that we have assets like images of this nature, preview UI kits like reusable components here. It even uploads with the colors and type the CSS that I shared earlier. What you'll see, and the goal here is basically this. Once everything's set up, that little chatbot will come back on the let designers work with developers and be like, hey, I found a new button that I want to add to you. Do it using Claude Design, then hand it off to the developer to say, okay, I'll integrate it into the application known as design. Or if you're checking out Claude Design, like, hey, I want to handle everything in. You're not going to get anywhere with YouTube thumbnails unless you use Thumio.com, which is linked in the description below. But not least, check out my Log podcast, which is a show I personally produce in San Francisco as I walk into offices and talk to let folks have a good time. So as you already know, I'll catch you in the next gear video. Literally just break down what Claude Design is as fast as possible. Type of